A slow breath fills your lungs with the smell of gunpowder and burned concrete. The cold floor pressing against your body inside a building that no longer has walls, only skeletons of brick, empty windows like hollow eyes, and the gray November sky staring down through what used to be ceilings. Dmitri is beside you, gripping his rifle with both hands shaking, not from the cold, but from exhaustion, while Pavel rests his head against the wall for a second, just a second, as if sleep is still an option. Alexei Morozov, soldier of the Soviet 62nd Army, 23 years old, 3 days without food, surviving on melted snow and the fading memory of your mother's bread. German boots echo from the floor below. There's no need to count them, the weight of their steps carries through the structure, 5, maybe 6, and only 4 bullets remain, for 3 men surrounded, no radio, no reinforcements, no way out. In military records, this place is called Krasny 7 position, but the men who passed through before had a different name for it, the mousetrap, and now it makes sense. Dmitri turns slightly, whispering a single word. It's already clear before the sound even forms. Now, 30 seconds, maybe less. That's all that stands between this moment and death in a forgotten corner of a city the world has already abandoned. A city that refuses to die quietly. The next few minutes won't just decide survival, they will decide what remains of you when everything else is gone. If you want to experience more stories like this, subscribe, because some stories shouldn't be forgotten. 6 days before that night, there was still a full name, Alexei Dmitrievich Morozov, 23 years old, born in Saratov, the son of a blacksmith, the brother of 2 girls who loved picking raspberries in the summer. That image stays, the raspberries, held the same way others hold on to photographs. Safer that way, because a photograph can be soaked, torn, lost, but a memory remains. Arrival in Stalingrad came in September 1942, crossing the Volga on an improvised ferry under constant aerial bombardment. Half the men who made that crossing never reached the other side, but this one did. The moment boots touched that ruined ground, it became clear this was a different world, one where the normal rules of survival no longer applied. A glance around is enough to understand. This is no longer a city. It's a maze of ruins, smoke, and blood. Every street a battlefield, every floor of every building shifting hands between Soviet and German control within hours. Space is no longer measured in kilometers, but in meters, and surviving one more day depends on recognizing the difference between a bullet passing close and one passing too close. Dmitry Volkov appeared in the second week, older, 31, a miner from Donbass, with large hands and a calm that didn't belong to a man still trying to survive, but to someone who had already accepted death and simply hadn't told his body yet. Trust came naturally because of that. Men who no longer fear death are dangerous in other ways, but in battle, they are exactly the kind of men you want beside you. Pavel Gromov was the youngest, 18 years old, a boy's face with eyes that had already seen too much, fast, silent, with a rare instinct for being exactly where no one expected. The week before, he crawled through a corridor under heavy fire to recover a crate of grenades no one else would risk reaching. The grenades were gone 2 days later, but what he did stayed. On the 6th day before the mousetrap, the mission was simple: hold Krasny 7 position for 48 hours while the battalion regrouped to the north. A 4-story building that once served as a technical school. Now nothing more than concrete and the ghosts of classroom chairs. 12 men entered that building. 48 hours later, only 3 remained. By the 3rd day inside the building, the sense of time begins to shift. Hours no longer follow their natural order. Morning, afternoon, night. Instead, they reorganize into something else: moments of silence, moments of gunfire, moments spent dragging bodies away from the windows. Sleep comes in 20-minute intervals, rifle always in hand, one ear always listening for a sound that shouldn't exist. The Germans don't attack head-on, they are patient, sending 2 or 3 men at a time to probe the defenses, pulling back, then returning from another angle, turning it into a slow game of pressure, one they know favors them. With every passing hour, ammunition runs lower, and resistance grows thinner, like wet paper stretched too far. Sasha is lost on the 2nd day, a bullet tearing through the 2nd-floor window. Gennady and Victor follow on the 3rd, when a mortar strikes the corridor where they were posted. There is nothing left to bury, and after that, counting stops because numbers become weight once they are real. The truth settles in quickly. Ammunition is the immediate problem. The numbers run over and over through the night. 32 rounds between 3 rifles, 2 grenades still in Pavel's bag, and the knife Dmitri has carried in his boot since crossing the river. Not an arsenal, just a farewell with a few extra steps, but nothing of that is said out loud. Dmitri already understands, Pavel doesn't need to, not yet. On the 4th day, the radio dies, the battery lasted longer than expected. A small miracle, the kind this city offers from time to time, as if it enjoys giving hope before taking everything away. No radio, no reinforcements, no way of knowing if the battalion still exists, just an island, slowly sinking. Dmitri suggests an exit through the eastern side, a corridor leading into the rubble of the neighboring building. The idea hangs for a moment, but the answer is already clear. German troops were seen positioning there 2 hours earlier. That path leads straight into their hands, so the decision is made to stay, to hold the position, because it's the only thing left that still feels like control, even if that control is fragile and barely real. On the night of the 5th day, the cold feels different, not just the winter creeping in, but something deeper, the kind of cold that comes when the body starts giving up on keeping itself warm because there is no energy left to fight it. The 2nd floor offers no comfort, only broken concrete and a ceiling torn open to the sky, where stars drift in and out behind moving clouds. For a moment, the raspberries return, the sound of a younger sister calling from far away. Then the thought fades, and everything narrows down to listening. Then it comes, footsteps, not below, but above. Someone has entered through the roof. A hand reaches Dmitri's shoulder, no sound needed. His eyes open instantly, never fully asleep, never unready, and he understands. Pavel wakes on instinct alone, as if sleep has already been replaced by something sharper. The 3 remain still, breathing slow, controlled, while the ceiling creaks under shifting weight. Someone trying to move quietly and failing. 1, maybe 2. A signal is enough. Pavel moves first, slipping toward the stairs, pressed against the wall, slow like smoke. Dmitri shifts to the opposite side, covering the window while the center holds steady, rifle aimed at the torn ceiling above. Seconds stretch, 20, 30, and then the creaking stops. Silence follows, and in Stalingrad, silence is never empty. It's a warning, the kind that comes just before everything breaks. Every survivor knows this. Silence here is not the absence of sound. It's preparation for something worse. The grenade drops through the opening and hits the floor just a few meters away. There's no time to think. The body moves first, a kick, fast, instinctive, sending it flying back out the window. The explosion comes from outside, a violent blast that shakes the structure. For a second, everything turns orange, then darkness again. Dmitri is already moving, heading up the stairs. Pavel is gone. The steps follow, burned wood creaking under weight, a heartbeat that no longer feels like it belongs to a body, but to something running on instinct alone. The 3rd floor is empty, the hatch above left open, and outside, footsteps fade into the distance. 2 figures disappearing into the neighboring building. They've pulled back. For now. By the morning of the 6th day, 4 bullets remain, just 4, and with them comes the certainty that the Germans will try again, this time in greater numbers, with less patience for shadows and hesitation. It's there in the silence that settles with the sunrise, dense, heavy, the kind of silence that feels like it's waiting to be broken. Dmitri suggests something that, in any other situation, would sound like madness, using Pavel's 2 grenades to create a distraction below, to make it seem like there are more men inside, to buy time, enough time for something to change, for someone to arrive, or for a way out to appear. It's a plan built on desperation and assumption, but it's still a plan, and right now, having a plan is better than having nothing. Boots break the quiet below around 6 in the morning. Fast, coordinated, too many. The count comes instinctively, 6 pairs, maybe 7. They enter from both sides at once, front and side. Someone has given them the layout of the building, that much is clear for a moment, and then it stops mattering. Pavel throws the first grenade from the 2nd floor window to the left. The explosion forces the side group back. Dmitri fires twice, 1 shot for each, and the result is immediate, 2 men down, and still there are always more. The position holds at the staircase, rifle aimed downward, waiting for the first helmet to appear. When it does, the shot is taken, and after it, silence returns, but not the same silence as before. This one carries hesitation. They pull back, regroup, reassess. 1 bullet remains, just 1. No grenades left, and voices outside shout in German. organizing what comes next. This is the moment that never leaves, the one that returns years later when winter comes and the smell of concrete rises out of nowhere. Pavel takes the second grenade, pulls the pin, and tells you to run, calm, decided, like he's describing the weather. A look is enough, 18 years old, still a boy, and he nods once. The retreat happens fast, back through the corridor, while Pavel holds his position, the grenade hitting both advancing groups at once, thrown forward as they push in, sacrificing the angle, forcing the blast into the center of the corridor. The explosion fills the floor with smoke and dust, and when the view clears, only silence remains, debris scattered everywhere, and Dmitri's knife still resting in his boot. For 4 more hours, there is no movement, just a body pressed against cold concrete and Dmitri beside you, breathing heavily, but alive, both waiting for any sound that might tell what comes next. The building is no longer under attack. Either the Germans believe no one is left inside, or they are waiting for reinforcements of their own. There's no way to know, so silence remains, and waiting becomes the only option. Soviet reinforcements arrive by late afternoon, a unit from the 13th Guards Rifle Division pushing in from the north, retaking the block. They find the two of you sitting against the wall on the second floor, staring into nothing, a rifle resting between you, and a single bullet that was never fired. The officer says something about resistance and bravery, but the words don't reach because something else still echoes louder, Pavel's voice. The days that follow bring treatment for exhaustion and mild hypothermia in a field station near the Volga. Dmitri stays close and very little is said because some things cannot be spoken, not because words don't exist, but because saying them would make everything real in a way silence still holds back. So silence remains, and reality arrives in its own time. Pavel Gromov is recorded as killed in action, Krasny 7 position, November 1942, 18 years old, from Tula, an only son. His family receives a letter months later, a standard letter, filled with words about honor, sacrifice, and country, words that are true, but never enough for those who lose a son, a brother, a boy who still knew how to smile. Survival comes, Stalingrad is left behind, and the war continues westward, through cities, rivers, and fields until it finally ends. Dmitri remains, but something else does too. Something left behind in that shattered building, not as a loss, but as an anchor, a memory that prevents both drifting away and sinking completely, holding everything in place just enough to go on. Between August 1942 and February 1943, Stalingrad is consumed, millions die, the city is reduced to ash and later rebuilt on top of it. And somewhere within that history, among broken concrete and silence, there was a building that was once a school, then a trap, then a battlefield, and finally the place where an 18-year-old boy decided that a few seconds of courage were worth more than a lifetime of fear. The memory never leaves, it returns with the cold, with the smell of concrete, and with the sight of raspberries on a table, one more taken each time, always one more, for him.